MMO addiction. How playing Final Fantasy XIV or World of Warcraft change you? Oh boy.
The MMO player
Oh,
is
get the
elusive as they are majestic.
Oh.
There are times where we thought that they may have gone extinct.
Come on.
Not unlike the pygmy blue-tailed skink, they are rarely seen leaving their burrows, only sticking their head out of their dwellings when in need of food. The MMO player often lines their dwellings with waste to scare off potential predators. In rare occasions, the MMO player can be found in herds,
Oh god.
migrating to conventions in hopes of finding a mate or their next yearly shirt.
Okay.
The MMO player, while reclusive,
Oh,
are
come
prone
on.
to irrational behavior.
Yeah,
If you
right.
find one in the wild, it is best to keep your distance.
What do you mean? Okay. Very fucking funny.
I've played MMOs for most of my life, on and off for years. My first trip into MMOs was a walk through the Dark Portal. Myself, like many of you, my first MMO
Burning
was World
Crusade.
of Warcraft.
Look at
I
that.
played the game for many years, many expansions, but eventually ended up having to walk away from the game due to real life responsibility, friends, school, all of that.
What a loser. Wow. Can you believe that, bro? Quitting the game? For school? Bro, we quit school for the game. What do you mean?
After years away, I end up dipping my toe back into the genre with Lost Ark, eventually landing on my main game, Final Fantasy XIV.
Okay, it's
But
another one of these.
After years spent away from playing MMOs, there was always this draw to come back and play them. And I resisted with all my might. And now, after playing MMOs again, thinking back on the resistances, thinking back on the time that I spent away from MMOs, I'm sitting here wondering whether or not MMOs were good or bad for me. So that's the point of this video. We're going to explore whether MMOs are good or bad for us. There's always been a lot of negative connotations to playing MMOs. We've seen
I think that they're very good for you. Personally, I think that MMOs can be bad for you in the same way that anything else can be bad for you. Overexposure to nearly anything can become harmful. But that's it.
in the media, we've seen them online, we've seen them from our friends. But we also know the benefits that are there as well for MMOs. So let's discuss this and see where we come out at the end. One of the most significant benefits to playing MMOs is the people. Players can interact with each other in real time, forming friendships and relationships that can last for years. I mean, some of my best friends are those that I've made through playing video games.
Yeah, exactly.
Mark, the other guy on this channel, we've been friends for 17 years, starting back on Call of Duty. This
Holy
sense of
shit, bro,
belonging-
I don't know anybody. Like, whenever I played Halo, it was so disconnected because it was in, like, 2004. Like, I never really made friends with people in Halo and, like, stayed friends with them. I just played games with them, and then that was kind of it. But I do know that, like, in WoW, I made a lot of really long-term friends, too.
can be especially important for those who have difficulty making friends or fitting in. The ability to connect with others who share similar interests to you and hobbies can help individuals feel less alone and more connected to the world around them.
Yeah,
While
I would agree
I
with
started
that, for
playing
sure.
World of Warcraft, I was every bit of an awkward teenager. Sure, I had friends, however, I wasn't the most outgoing person by any means.
I was about probably the same. Like, I had lots of friends in, like, high school and, like, middle school. Like, I never had a problem fitting in with people in general. Obviously, you know, it's not like I was friends with everyone or I was, like, super popular, like, really, and anything like that. But, yeah, sure. Things were fine.
Building and maintaining social connections can be difficult for just about anyone. However, MMOs provided a safe space for me to figure out how to do that. Those interpersonal relationship skills are developed even further when we start developing teamwork and collaboration skills. MMOs require players to work together, Whether it's defeating
Oh,
bosses, taking down raids, taking down dungeons, completing quests together, and overcoming any other type of challenge.
Oh,
this
it was
really helps
so
people
bad.
develop important teamwork and collaboration skills, as well as even networking skills.
That was a day.
Which can be really valuable in real-life situations. I would imagine most gamers are probably not making this correlation. But if you've ever applied for a static in Final Fantasy XIV, or interviewed for a raid position in World of Warcraft, you've already started to develop those interpersonal connection skills as well as those networking skills that are necessary for you to be able to find a job.
Well, I totally agree with that. I think I've learned more from World of Warcraft about business than I learned from business about business in business school. Absolutely. Because like you're free to go and do whatever you want and find out what works and what doesn't. It's that fucking simple. Yeah, how? Well, because obviously a lot of times in school, this is what you learn a lot in school. You learn how to memorize terms that the teacher says that you think should be important. But these terminologies are not always very important. They're not about actually creating value for a customer. They're not actually about how to get somebody to spend money whenever you put out a product. That's why. This is 100% fucking true. Like, for example, I remember there was a time for me, this is actually even in high school, and I never really fully understood supply and demand until I put up, I remember I got the pattern for fell steel gauntlets, and it was like Auchindoun, like, crypts to level up my blacksmithing. And I crafted a bunch of these so I could level up my blacksmithing. And in doing so, I put all of them on the auction house. And halfway through listing, 20 of these fell steel gauntlets, I asked myself the question, wait a minute, how many warriors in the next 24 hours are going to actually buy this pair of gloves? And I thought about it. It's like, how many warriors are on the server? How many people already have it? How many people want it? Like, what's the reason? And then I realized that I'm putting up way too many. There's not that many people that are going to buy it. I'm wasting my money with the listing fee, and I shouldn't put the rest of them up. And I remember that extremely fucking well. And I learned a lot of those tips from Warcraft, not real life.
Once you know how to present yourself, how to present proper information of how
Volume
qualified
thresholds,
you are,
yes.
that's the same thing that you're doing in both situations. There are a ton of other social benefits to playing an MMO. If you think about it, where else can you meet such a variety of people from different cultures? Increasing cultural awareness and empathy is something that just kind of naturally happens when playing an MMO.
Yeah, because you have to get along with people. The thing is, whenever you're raiding and being a raid leader in WoW or anything like this, is that you have to be likable. People's job does not depend on doing what you want. People's job does not, like, their livelihood is not attached to sucking up to you or listening to your bullshit. So if you're rude or you're an asshole or you're not producing the results that people want from you, they're not tied to like some paycheck to have to deal with you. They just leave and you're done. So you get to a point where in order to get people to listen to what you're saying and not have a paycheck be attached to it is very hard to do.
Think about just how diverse these communities are. People from different backgrounds in all different places around the world. Interacting with these people can really help you understand them and empathize with them.
It's like you're getting used to different types of people.
As we all have the same interests and we all love the same things. MMOs are...
Go back, you missed it. What did I miss? No, I didn't miss that. I saw it. I don't know. It's not that big of a deal. I mean, that seems pretty normal. More?
Think about just how diverse these communities...
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. Yes, now I remember. Oh, boy. Yeah, this is a typical day in Final Fantasy XIV.
Communities are. People from different
And I remember whenever this came out, and somebody sent it to me, and they told me that the characters didn't have nipples, it completely blew my mind because it was true, and I had never noticed it.
In all different places around the world. interacting with these people can really help you understand them and empathize with them, as we all have the same interests and we all love the same things. MMOs are also great at fostering creativity and self-expression.
Oh, yeah.
Many MMOs provide us with a large range of customization options. Sadly enough, most of them through a store. However, still, we can make ourselves appear how exactly we want to. We can pick the kind of class that we want to play. We can pick the way that our gear looks. This allows players to be able to express themselves, their individuality, in a virtual setting.
Yeah, sure.
Where some people may not be a leader or a top performer in sports or the workplace, they might find themselves uninhibited in this virtual world.
Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, it's going to be hard to be a sports star or something like that if you're 5'4". Like, absolutely. Or, you know, there's some other type of problem with you. You know, you have asthma or something like that. But you can go into a video game and you can be on the same playing field as other people. I think that's one of the best things about a lot of games, is that they are an even playing field for most things.
Realizing a potential that they may have never saw in themselves to begin with. Sometimes the success in a game can very well lead to confidence in real-life endeavors. Providing a sense of belonging and identity for many players, their MMO character can be a source of that identity and belonging, especially if they're in a tight-knit community. This can be particularly important for players that may feel isolated or marginalized in real life.
Oh, I think that's definitely what happens. People, you know, somebody's a loser in real life. I mean, we don't need to sugarcoat it here, right? Somebody's a loser in real life, and they can go on the internet and not be a loser. Abso-fucking-lutely. Yep, that's the way it goes. That's why it's so great. That's why people love it.
All playing MMOs can give you a range of social benefits, from building and maintaining social connections to fostering creativity and self-expression. Developing skills that you can easily use in the real world, whether professionally or interpersonally. It would be a major miss if we didn't discuss the major psychological benefits that we get from playing MMOs. And no, I'm not talking about those sweet loot drops. No, I'm talking about escapism.
Oh, well, yeah, of course. Because people can do whatever they want, be whoever they want.
One
Absolutely.
that plays MMOs for escapism.
Yeah.
Many people use them to unwind after a long day or distract ourselves from
That's why I remember, like, a lot of people were not happy whenever certain games, and this is not as popular nowadays, but it used to be very popular. They hated whenever people would try to bring real-life stuff into a video game. Like any sort of promotion or anything like that. They didn't like it because it felt like it took away from the escapism the game had.
And anxiety. In some cases, it can be even therapeutic. The ability to escape the pressures and challenges of real life can be incredibly beneficial for individuals who are dealing with mental health issues or some other form of stress.
Well, I think that for most people, it's because they're marginalized in the world in some way. They have like some sort of reason why they can't fit in real life. And I think especially for young people, that's incredibly like appealing to be able to just go online and not be tied to how you look, or not be tied to how people, like what people care about, what you like saying or acting, like how much money you have. None of these things really matter. Well, they used to not matter, at least with the money.
2020, I wanted to avoid all political.
Somebody says, any hobby provides escapism. What's so special about MMOs? Video's kind of bullshit, in my opinion. I don't think that. I think MMOs provide escapism in a much more holistic way than a lot of other hobbies. Absolutely. Because in other hobbies, you indulge in that hobby, but you are still the same person. Yeah, escapism against a different world. Yeah, I mean, like, of course, what you're saying is they can be a distraction or an escape. But I think something being an escape is not the same as escapism. This is like kind of a stupid fucking difference. But I think that it's very clear with MMOs that they provide a different level of an escape than something like painting Warhammer figurines.
and social anarchy.
Unless you're sniffing the paint.
Stepping away from social media, the news, and just about
it's probably about the
anything
same.
related to the world at the time.
You will go to another
It was
world.
exactly what I needed to keep myself sane. Whether it's for reasons like mine or for personal reasons, taking a break from real life goes a long way to relieving stress.
Oh, yeah.
Now, while I believe it's more of the social and the psychological benefits that are the positive sides of MMOs, we can't also ignore the potential benefits of just learning how to do basic problem solving. MMOs, in a sense, can be educational. And this kind of goes back to what I was talking about earlier. Teaching players new skills and providing them opportunities to use problem solving and critical thinking.
I also think this is a double-edged sword. Because in real life, things are not programmed for you to succeed at. So being able to problem solve in a video game is very important, and I think it can be a great learning tool. But I also don't think it can be comparable to real-life problem solving in a lot of regards, because in real life, you're not always going to have a obvious and easy solution that is programmed for you to succeed in. Now, I think in MMOs, you go into these situations that are not programmed. Like, for example, like how to win a PvP battle whenever there's 10 of you and there's 20 of them. How to keep a guild together whenever there's 2 people that are trying to get the guild to break apart. Like, these are like interpersonal challenges that go beyond that. But I think in terms of beating a boss or overcoming any sort of challenge in a video game, on a fundamental level, I don't really hold that in as high of regard as the interpersonal skills that a video game like this can provide.
MMOs require players to work together to complete difficult objectives, which can be helpful for individuals developing teamwork and communication skills. Additionally, these games often require strategic thinking and planning, which can help improve cognitive function and problem-solving abilities. MMOs can provide a better understanding of statistics through parsing, a strong ability to...
That is very true. You talk to somebody that plays World of Warcraft, and they're going to understand the value of a 5% bonus. They're going to understand how big, 20% is. They're going to understand what the 99th percentile is. They're going to get it.
Recognize patterns through fights, with bosses and raids, and shape up those typing skills while you're venting your frustrations on, about the game on Reddit or Twitter.
Oh, yeah.
Now, the reason why I don't think this last point is very impactful is because the majority of players are either using add-ons, they're using online strategies, and they're just really not thinking for themselves.
No,
Most
not
players
really.
just look for the meta build, get the meta build, go to the fight, and execute the fight that they've seen on a video.
Yeah, they do the thing that they were told to do.
Out of that, they're not really doing very much planning.
Which is why I think whenever games first come out and those metas aren't as defined, that's whenever the game is the most exciting and the most interesting for me. It's because there isn't like just a one-size-fits-all solution. It's like whenever Elden Ring came out, people had all kinds of different ideas of how to play the game. Whenever World of Warcraft came out, people had all kinds of ideas. And that's why I really like whenever a game comes out and there's not a bunch of beta testing for it, because you're really just kind of progressing on it and you're going to see, okay, maybe this will work, maybe not.
Really using any strategy. You can fight with me on that if you want, but I'm being honest, as someone that has done the same thing for I don't even know how long.
I will say that there is a certain value in being able to take commands and being able to, for example, like watch a guide on Mythic Ashara and then understand what that guide tells you to do and then execute the commands that people give you in order to succeed in the fight. Like, that's a massively important thing to be able to do.
There's smarter people than me. Those are the people that are benefiting. We're smooth-brained. So while there are many benefits to MMOs, there are some pretty significant drawbacks.
Oh, yeah.
And it's about time that we got into those now. We have to talk about the most obvious drawback. One of the most significant issues with playing MMOs is the potential for addiction.
Well, I think that's definitely true. People will get addicted to playing video games. It's very common. People are addicted to all kinds of things. I think video games are... video game addiction is very real. I think there's no question about it. Is it the same as being addicted to heroin? No, it's not the same, but it's a different type of addiction, and each person can regulate their addiction in different ways. Some people are so addicted to video games that it completely fucks up their life. Other people are just kind of addicted and they log on every day, and it's like a weird quirk they have. So there's a massive spectrum of these things.
MMOs are designed to be immersive and engaging, and some players find it difficult to stop playing once they've started.
Oh, yeah.
This can lead to a host of issues, including neglect of responsibilities.
I do that.
Poor sleeping habits.
I do that.
And lack of physical exercise.
I do that.
In extreme cases, this can lead to issues with your family, social issues,
Yes.
loss of work, developing mental health issues, or even just general.
I remember I would always apply to jobs. This was like back in the day. I would always apply to jobs, and I would tell them, like, listen, on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, or no, it was Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, I can't show up to work. Those evenings, I'm busy. And they're like, what are you busy with? I'm busy. That's what I'm busy with. I can't be there.
Health issues.
Yeah, they
Back
didn't
in the
call
day
me
when
back.
I used to play World of Warcraft. I can't tell you how many times I skipped out on homework, going to high school and college events, hanging out with friends, applying for jobs.
Oh, there's that.
And even spending time with my family.
I did the same thing. Obviously, I play video games instead of that. It's always hard to know, is indulging in something that you enjoy that makes you happy a bad idea? And I think that really it's not a very simple answer, because for a lot of people, like, they just take it way too fucking far. But for some other people, sometimes they might want to just sit home one day and play video games instead of going out and hanging out with their friends. And I think that's totally fine. There's nothing wrong with that. The problem is that, like, whenever you're doing that all of the time, and then there's like this dissonance in your mind, and you're feeling bad for doing it, but you just keep doing it. Does that make sense? Yeah, if you're skipping life over something, it might be a problem. Well, if you're doing it all of the time, I think that there are, I mean, you guys know, there are many days whenever, like, for me, like, where I don't really want to go out with anybody. I don't want to go out anywhere. I just want to stay in my room, and I just want to relax today and just chill out. That's it. That's all I want to do. I just want to chill out. And I think that's totally okay.
World of Warcraft provided me an escape from all sorts of responsibilities.
Oh, it did for me too.
Now, I don't blame World of Warcraft for the mistakes that I made.
No, it's your fault.
I don't blame World of
Same as it
Warcraft
was
for
mine.
the first time that I dropped out of college. I blame myself.
Oh, absolutely. Because it's like, it's not the game's fault that you're doing this. That's just the way it is. I always hate whenever people, they go and blame, like, oh, it's a video game. It's this. Bro, it's you, because you're bad at making decisions. You are making decisions that are bad for you. So yeah, it's a balance, absolutely. But I don't think, like, for me, like, I just wanted to stay home and play video games all day. That's all I wanted to do. And, like, at a certain point, like, whenever I was a kid, all I wanted to do whenever I got older is I wanted to get older, and I wanted to hang out with my friends, live at my mom's house, eat Cheetos, drink Dr. Pepper all day, play video games, and eat hot dogs at 7-Eleven. That was it. I didn't want to be an astronaut. I didn't want to be a doctor. Maybe being a lawyer would be okay. But other than that, no. Everything is great right now. It's awesome. And I don't see any reason for any of it to change. So at a certain point, like, I never really felt bad about that, because it was what I really wanted to do. And I was happy doing it. And I think at a certain point, it's unhealthy for you to live your life based off of the expectations of other people, because other people are not you. They're not living your life. You are not beholden to them. You are not well, you are responsible for them in some cases, but in many cases, you're not. It's your life to live the way that you want to live it. And if you want to play video games and do whatever you want to do all day, make sure to do that. But I think that if that happens, you have to ask yourself the honest question: is this actually making me happy? Is my life actually better because of this? Or is this the easiest option because I'm too afraid I'll fail in any other option? Or is it something that I've always done and I'm too afraid to change? You see what I'm saying? Nothing makes me happy, aware. Well, just keep doing new things until something does. And then also, life isn't about always being happy. I think that life is about being fulfilled. Life is about doing something that gives you fulfillment. And I think that fulfillment creates happiness, but I don't think that it's fundamentally happiness. Does that make sense? Very relatable to Twitch viewers. Good to talk to have. Yeah, that's why I thought this video would be interesting. But yeah, whenever I was a lot younger, there were a lot of times that I would not do things, or I would, you know, not have certain responsibilities because I played video games all the time. And a lot of the problems that I had whenever I was younger are problems that I created. These are not, you know, it's not Blizzard's fault that I decided to only take 2 classes a semester so I could play World of Warcraft 5 days a week nonstop. But you know what? I'm not fucking sorry, because I had so much fun. It was awesome. I got to hang out with my friends every fucking day. We got student aid to pay for fucking everything. We went to Dairy Queen all the time, eating pizza, eating ice cream, chili cheese fucking fries, and we were hanging out, having fun all the fucking time, and I would do anything to go back to that. It was so fucking good. No regrets.
I have to take personal responsibility for that.
You go back 10 years ago.
MMOs are
videos
designed
I made,
to be
same exact
engaging
thing.
and keep you hooked.
Like, I'll show you. I'll even show you guys. Where is this? This was me.
Themselves.
Like on Drew. So this was me back literally 10 years ago. Sitting in the exact same fucking place that I am sitting at right now. There we go. And I was so fucking happy. I was hanging out with the boys all of the time. It was great. Look at that. Oh, this is whenever I wouldn't get straws, and so I'd have to take straws from old drinks and then put them in my new drinks. I was so happy. You can still be happy? Yes, I know, because I'm doing the same thing. It was great. So many drinks? Yes. It was a beautiful life.
If you're not strong enough to differentiate which responsibilities you have that are more important, your real life ones or your video game ones, that's on you. Another major drawback to MMOs is that they can be a breeding ground for toxic behavior. In a game that has thousands, if not millions of players, there are bound to be some who engage in bullying, harassment, and other forms of negative behavior.
I do find it to be probably better for people to interface with these things on the internet and in a video game because they're a lot safer. Like, for example, if there's some asshole in a video game and you have to learn how to deal with them, I think it's way better to learn how to deal with that asshole in a video game than at a job. Like, I remember whenever I worked at the IRS, there were people at that job, I didn't like them. But you know what? I smile, I was like, hey, nice to see you, and fuck you, and that's it. Was never a problem. Because I learned how to deal with people I didn't like. And it didn't matter what my personal approval of them was, because they're doing their job, I'm doing my job, and that's it.
Have a significant impact on other players' mental health, causing them to feel isolated, anxious, and depressed.
Oh, yeah.
Additionally, the anonymity of online gaming can make it really difficult to hold individuals accountable for their behavior.
I think another big thing is that video games provide a reward structure for, like, for example, like, if you go and you complete a boss and you beat some boss, at the end of the day, what you did doesn't really matter. And video games can create a sense of false fulfillment. Is that people are so fixated around beating something and succeeding in something in a video game And then in doing so, they get the same feeling that they would get out of, succeeding in something in real life, but it's like, it's fake. It's not real. And I think after a while, people start to see that after they have enough of these successes in a video game, and then they're just very transient. It's like it happens, it's gone. And it's not the same as succeeding in something in real life.
Especially,
so if you enter something into a spreadsheet, that's an accomplishment. Well, I think that you can like, oh, you went to the moon? Oh, wow, great job. You put on a suit and you just flew up in a rocket. Wow, that's crazy. Like, you can oversimplify almost anything to the point where it seems like it doesn't matter. But yes, I think that real life accomplishments, video games can sometimes cannibalize the sense of achievement that people should and would get from real life accomplishments. And I don't find that to be good.
When you're playing a game that may or may not actually act upon its ban system and reporting systems. I wasn't exposed to toxic behavior in MMOs until I played Final Fantasy XIV. Now, this is not something that is exclusive to Final Fantasy.
Wait, what?
Ban system and reporting systems. I wasn't exposed to toxic behavior in MMOs until I played Final Fantasy.
Is this like a joke or something? Like this guy played World of Warcraft, then he moved over to Final Fantasy, and that's whenever he experienced toxicity? I feel like this is like, bro, this has got to be a paid actor by Blizzard. This is a paid Blizzard actor, guys. I can tell.
14. Now, this is not something that is exclusive to Final Fantasy XIV.
Of course not.
This is something that exists in all MMOs. However, this is just the first time that I was exposed to it. When I first started raiding in Final Fantasy XIV as a freshly clipped Sprout, I ran into some interesting characters.
Okay.
I ran into a static leader that was incredibly passive-aggressive. They wouldn't tell you that you were underperforming. I wasn't using parsing at the time, by the way.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't guide you when you were doing something wrong. Instead, they would just take to the rest of the static behind your back and say things to them that would eventually revolve around to you.
So basically, that teaches you for how to deal with people in real life. Once again. Because video games, sometimes bad interactions are even more of a learning experience than good interactions. Like, I remember I had one occasion. And this is whenever I was still, like, I think I was still in high school. Maybe I had just graduated. And we were doing a raid. And I was yelling into the mic. And my guild of people, who were all older than I was, the guild master, one of the guys that I looked up to, said, Asmon, if you ever do that again, I'm going to kick you out of the raid. I'm going to kick you out of the guild. I'm going to kick you out of the vent server, and we're never going to talk to you again. Shut the fuck up. And I was very upset. I was like, what the fuck? Like, did I just fuck up? Yeah, you did. And thank God that happened in a completely safe space. There's no real world accountability for this. There's no lasting effect. There's no physical endangerment. But I learned that I was being an obnoxious little bitch. And I got put in my place. And you know what happened after that? I stopped being as much of an obnoxious little bitch. And I never did that in Vent again.
I also had static members and another static that went
Thank
to
God that
Twitter
happened.
and created an entire burn book, basically, about me on their thread. Constantly posting almost every single day about how much they don't like me, how much they don't want to play with me anymore, and even talking about me personally.
Okay.
You know what? I got one even better.
That's interesting.
Let's have some story time.
Okay.
Back in the Shadowbringers expansion of Final Fantasy XIV, I joined a static whose leader was a streamer.
Big mistake. Big mistake. Like, that's it. Yep. We already know what's going to happen. Red flag, red flag. Bro, those guys are losers.
Voting because they had about 5 to 10 people watching their stream at a time.
Okay.
On my first day of tryout, my first time attempting the raid tier, while progging the fight, for the first time ever, I was pulled into a private channel on Discord with the static leader. He told me what I can and cannot say, how I need to not embarrass him, how I need to do my absolute best.
I think that it's fair for him to say, hey, I'm streaming, don't say the N-word. Or, hey, I'm streaming, don't talk about how much you don't like gay people. That's totally fine. But if it's some other thing like, oh, well, you have to refer to him as my lord every single time because, you see, he's the guild master and he's also a streamer, okay? So he's going to be famous one day and you won't be. So you need to refer to him as your majesty, yeah. As master, yeah. That's whenever things go over the line.
He then gave me a speech about how great of a judge of people he is.
Okay.
How he sees great strength in me. And how I need to step up to the plate. By the way, him and I have...
To be honest, people like that don't even faze me. I find them funny. Yeah, he's a buffoon. Like, it's just funny. It's like, okay, my lord, I will do thy bidding. We will fight for your name. In Final Fantasy. Yeah, it's just... People get so bent out of shape about this stuff. I just think it's funny.
Never talked before. Or met.
Yeah, it's like... You act like this is something that's going to be unique in a video game. Bro, how many of you guys have had a middle manager at a retail store or something like this who pulls you aside and says this exact same fucking thing? Yeah, there's plenty of stuff like this. Like, having immature leadership is super popular. Like, one time, my manager at my job, fucking, like, we were putting in, like, Roman numerals for how many people wanted different kinds of pizza, and he wanted pineapple pizza, and I didn't. And whenever it came around to me, I realized that pineapple pizza was winning. And I was like, what the fuck? And so you know what I did? I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then I put 5 or like 4 or something like that, probably just 4. 4 Roman numerals instead of just 1. Like, I voted 4 times and I outvoted him. And then he got mad about it. He got mad because, like, he got outvoted, and then he locked himself in his own fucking cubicle. Everybody else had, like, open desks. He had his own unique office. He locked himself in his own cubicle, and he was ordering salmon to the building. And he didn't want to order anybody's pizza because he was pissed off that he lost. This happened. And you know what? It's a learning experience.
This is our first conversation ever.
That's what happened.
The raid experience was middling.
Oh, also, we didn't want to have... Oh, he didn't want to have a birthday month because he didn't want to share his birthday with me and, like, one other person. So he wanted to have, like, a separate event for, like, himself. And I love this guy. This guy was great. We got along really well. But there were some stupid fucking moments. With respect, no, I had no problem with it. It was fine. Yeah, I don't care.
We had a few wipes, and then we eventually cleared. My second night raiding with the static, there was an announcement in the Discord. Apparently the static leader had tried to set the moves on one of the married women in the static.
Who could have ever expected such a dramatic change of events? Apparently this guy was raiding with Arcadum.
It failed. He claimed everyone was out to get him. He stole everything from the free company's bank.
And that's another thing to keep in mind, is that you will never hold one of these people accountable. You will never, like, you can catch them in a lie, and you can be like, see, it literally says you're wrong right here. And they'll look at it, and they'll say, huh, wow, you must be pretty good at Photoshop. That's fake. Well, that's fake. Nope, that's not true. Yeah, Lion Ted. You will never fucking win. Don't even try.
Discord and disbanded the static. Classy guy. These toxic interactions can really build up over time. Whether it's stuff that is either aimed at you, or it's aimed at somebody else that you're close to, or it's just aimed around you, or it's something you see online. Oh, yeah. You start to correlate that with real life engagement. whether you have the mental fortitude or maybe you even have mental health issues, sometimes these things can be a serious detriment.
I think that if this kind of stuff is negatively affecting you, just fucking leave immediately. Like, don't try to prove them wrong. Don't try to, you know, get people on your side. Don't do any of this. Just move away from this problem and do something that makes you happy. Stop trying to fucking fix the world. Stop trying to prove that you were the one who was right all along.
For me, it's
never
not
gonna
really ever
happen.
bothered me. I mean, obviously, I'm on YouTube, so I'm used to people saying some pretty heinous stuff about me.
Oh, and like, the truth is, people will even, this is what's going to happen, right? Is that, like, let's say you have, like, and obviously, this is one of the things that's more interesting with, like, doing things in MMOs. Because if you're at a job, maybe there's a way you can, you know, talk to HR or talk to another manager or report the person or something like that. Maybe you have, like, some degree of, like, kind of, authority. But in a video game, you don't. And that's simultaneously a good and a bad thing. Because nobody's there to solve your problems, but also you have to solve your own problems, which can become a good thing if you are successful in them. But there are a lot of times where everybody knows the guildmaster is an asshole, everybody knows he's a bad person, but people are raiding in the guild and it's convenient for them and they've raided with them for a while and things are going pretty well and they're next in line to get the legendary staff out of Firelands. And so Firelands is coming out pretty soon. You want to get that staff. And then there's also, like, you know, we're giving out mounts, we're doing runs. And so it's like, yeah, this guy's a horrible person, but also I just got 20,000 gold from this GDKP. So I mean, like, that sucks, man. Like, you should probably try to find a new guild. That's what it is. And I think that kind of a reality check is so healthy for people. It is so healthy in so many ways.
To usually, by the way, my reaction is, keep commenting, you fools! The views, they keep rolling in because of you. Give me your hate. I feed on it. Thanks for the money.
Okay. I would say probably something similar to that. I try not to intentionally, like, make people mad usually, but I'm not going to not say something because it will make people mad. Actually, that reminds me. Remind me of the Dilbert thing after this. I was going to address that. We had a video come out about that topic, and people were unhappy about it.
The impact of MMOs on mental health is a very complex issue that depends on a great variety of factors, including the individual player, the game being played, and that player's overall lifestyle. While there are many potential benefits to playing MMOs, there also are a lot of risks and significant impacts to people's lives.
Oh, of course. It's the same with
Whether
anything.
or not playing MMOs is really good or bad for you is completely
cool
dependent
boss.
on you, your habits, your personality, your lifestyle. At one time, MMOs were the last thing that I needed in my life. Today, I'm more balanced, matured. I find balance easier, and I value my time much more than I ever did when I was younger. MMOs are designed to be a long-term, long-time investment.
Yeah, of
You
course.
can make friends, develop skills, even make a living from it. MMOs have some of the greatest experiences in gaming. It's up to you whether or not you can handle it. So, I'm genuinely curious
Oh my
to hear about what you
God,
guys
that's a
thought about
good
the video,
cat.
and I'm also really curious to hear about what games
My cat does that to me sometimes, but his claws are out.
and what MMOs you guys are playing. We've had a pretty significant influx of new people into the channel, so I would like to get to know some of you guys. So drop a comment down below. If you say anything hateful, it's okay. But still, I'm curious.
Okay.
Love you guys. See you next time.
I think this is a fairly introspective video and actually pretty good. The guy's a pretty small content creator. It's only got 16 likes. I didn't really, 418 views on this video. It's actually pretty good. I mean, for a newer content creator, etc. I mean, there were some points that, you know, like maybe it could have been better. It could have been worse, right? Exactly. But hopefully he makes more videos like this. I think it's a healthy and positive video. Yeah, absolutely.
I trip